Hey MetaFam, P-Weasel here. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to do another reveal talk. So the last one we had was the importance of compromise within the Metazoo community. And today we're going to be talking about purchase limitations on limited products, because I think this is something that there needs to be a serious conversation about, because I think the community is once again, I am asking for the community to focus on purchasing limits on limited products. So that was my attempt at doing the Bernie Sanders meme. The latest one was the Nightfall Revive skateboard drop. And then before then it was like the Magic Cast drop. And there was like the fan art pack. There was a Cryptid Nation Revive. And then there was like the eBay. So there's an issue now where the Nightfall Revive drop, which happened, I think last Friday, Friday the 13th, yeah. And then it sold out within 30 seconds. Or according to some people, it sold out to like in 5 seconds. I didn't participate in the drop myself, so I'm trying to give my most unbiased opinion here. But I think there should be a limit put on a product, which only 2,000 is available like ever for redemption. So it's becoming a little bit of an issue where like the more casual and the more, I think like the newer Metazoo MetaFam members are having a hard time getting the actual products. Like they're actually at the Metazoo Marketplace website at the drop time, but they're still unable to get it. And that's like really defeating, to be honest. That actually gives me the vibes of when like scalping and flipping were very prevalent in this TCG realm, like back in late 2020 and early 2021. Not saying that that's what's happening right now, but I do think that there is a bit of that vibe going on, and it's not a pleasant one. I've been through it with like the Pokemon stuff and also Metazoo when they officially released like Cryptid Nation first edition. So for example, so back in August of last year, so to get like these cards, so the anniversary card and the Loveland Mailman, so these were like a limited drop on the Metazoo Marketplace last August, so August 2021. And it sold out within 30 seconds. And then, so thank goodness, Mike, after hearing a lot of people's, I guess, complaints, and also, I guess, just didn't feel too well that the drop was sold out so quickly, he dropped like another 1,000, and then that's when I was able to get mine. And then there was a limit that was actually put on the Metazoo Marketplace where after the initial 1,000 drop, these additional ones, there was a limit of 1. So I think that was, so that a limit to the purchase on Metazoo Marketplace, I think is a technology that is available for Metazoo to use. But for whatever reason, and of course it could be like logistical, or it could be some kind of server issues for certain products that's you're not able to do it. But I can't see a reason why you wouldn't limit these very desirable drops like fan art blisters, especially for fan art blister. To enter the fan art 2022 contest, you have to have the bookmark promo that's in front of the blister pack. And if you don't make that available to everyone, it's going to be really hard for people to have access in order to compete even in the 2022 contest for the fan art. And so I've heard many arguments for both sides. So let's go with so Metazoo themselves, there is a kind of like a meme going on that's saying, oh, limit the products, and then no one buys them, and people are going to be like, oh, Metazoo dead. Or if you don't limit the products, then everyone's going to be complaining that, oh my gosh, where are the limits? Like this is being sold out too fast. So what I think actually, I don't want to use like the correct route to go, because there are arguments for both sides. But the argument where it's saying that to not limit the products and then the product's not going to sell out, I don't think that's very realistic. Like it is going to be sell out, like especially for item with 2,000 or like 5,000 SKUs. So those are going to be sold out eventually. Like they're not going to be sold out in 1 minute. They're maybe going to be sold out in like 30 minutes or an hour. And I think that's a lot healthier time frame for an item to be sold out at. And I think that perhaps sometimes there is a straw man fallacy being used, where it's saying that, oh, Metazoo dead, because I actually haven't seen many people say, oh, Metazoo dead type of situation, like at least in the Metazoo general chat in Discord, or like the so the Metazoo chat or like the general chat. It could be something that's being said in like some of the gated communities, like perhaps the NFT gated community, where a lot of the members there are in, I shouldn't say all of them, I do know a lot of people with NFTs, and they are legitimate collectors and they want the utility aspect of the NFT. But there is another group of NFT holders that perhaps want to just make a profit from Metazoo. Maybe they are collectors, maybe they're just flipping, they're scalping. And I think a lot of the products that are being out without limitations is going to them, and they are the ones that are complaining if a limit is put on. Because from what I can see from the other unofficial Metazoo discords, a lot of people that didn't get the Nightfall Revive deck, they were actually really heartbroken, and they're really active members in the community, but they just weren't able to get one because, for example, in order to pay on the Metazoo Marketplace, you can either like enter your credit card, or like you can do Apple Pay, which is a lot faster. Some people don't have access to Apple Pay, and I think that this is kind of gating, without putting a limit, this is kind of gating people from actually obtaining the product. So if you limit the product to 1, or let's say even 5 or 10, depending on whatever it is, I think whoever wants to collect a lot of the same items, perhaps there are legitimate collectors, and I believe there are, that are willing to spend a lot of money to collect the whole set. But when people are starting to buy like 20, 50 of like a skateboard, like there is very high possibility that those will be flipped on the secondary market for like 2 or 3 times MSRP. And that's just very not fair, in my opinion, to the legitimate collectors that are out there. So like I said, the straw man fallacy pretty much just means that there is an argument for both sides, but maybe the argument for Metazoo dead is kind of like, maybe it's not as prevalent, but it's still being used as an argument to argue against the putting on limit aspect of it. Of course, on the flip side of the coin, there is benefits of not limiting products, which pretty much just allows, for example, Metazoo is a business for them to sell out very quickly, and whatever happens on a secondary market happens. I believe that's a very legitimate path to take as a company, but at the same time, Metazoo is very open to I guess the general public's engagement in Metazoo. Like Mike himself, he does Metazoo hours. There's a lot of the other staff members, like for convention, Texas Ted does a great job in talking to different people about which conventions that are going to happen. Like they did like a really fast one in Paris last month, and that was amazing. I think that community engagement is really great. But if you're going to be asking for community engagement, I think that whenever people are bringing up an issue, that Metazoo should take it to heart a little bit more, and not just to please a small minority or maybe like a small group of bigger whales that are in the community and just follow their whim. The community for Metazoo is made up of, you got the whales, so the top tier spenders, you got the dolphins, the mid-tier spenders, and you got like a lot of anchovies, to be honest. So like we're all here buying a few products and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that Metazoo should limit all products. Like for like the main sets, for like Wilderness, Nightfall, Cryptid Nation, and like Seance moving forward. So all that stuff, yeah, UFO, there are going to be distributors that are going to distribute that product to the different LGSs, and there are going to be other online sellers that are partnered with Metazoo that are going to make those products very available. So those don't really technically need to be limited. Their SKUs are already in like 100K just for the booster boxes. What I'm talking about is the specific $2,000 limit drops, or like eBay had 6,250. That's a lot in an hour and a half. I think that's good. It's a little bit, like I said earlier, it's a little bit defeatist, that feeling to just not be able to get a product when you're actually there. It's akin to kind of like if you're physically lining up, like way back when the internet wasn't too big, you had to line up to buy tickets to a concert or to like a sports venue, and then you line up in front of the ticket seller, and then right before you get to the ticket seller, one person's like, you know what? I'm going to buy 1,000 tickets. And that sells out the whole venue. And then you're that person behind him. And then ticket seller is like, oh, I'm sorry. The person in front of you just bought out 1,000 tickets. How are you going to feel, right? And this is the exact same situation in our digital age where you're shopping online and then this kind of happens without a limit. Like someone can just buy it all out and then everyone has to go to that ticket scalper or product scalper in order to buy it at a very increased price. So I think that is a danger of not having limitations. Here's a little bit of a free HR for people. I'm not an HR myself, but I have been in the customer service industry for quite a while. And it's the difference between customer service and customer experience. Customer service is pretty much saying, oh, I ordered a card and then it gets sent to me. So that's kind of customer service. If it's missing, then I may get a refund or get a replacement. Metazoo support has been very good with that. What customer experience is an actual experience where you actually is memorable to you in the future and makes you come back to want more and more products from this specific company or from this service. And that's something that I think Metazoo could maybe focus a bit more on. Without limits, like I'm very empathetic to a lot of the very, I guess, active collectors that weren't able to get like fan art blisters and the Revive drops, like because they had that one big experience. And I've even seen people saying that they want to quit Metazoo. And I've had that feeling myself as well. Like I've been really frustrated sometimes in the past. And I'm just like, this is so unfair. And you don't want to give your customers that type of feeling, you know? It's like, you want to make everyone engage in a community. You want like the players to be able to get certain cards to be able to play in the tournament. You want to be able to satisfy the collectors, of course, but there are like higher tier collectors, there are lower tier collectors, there are more casual collectors, there are collectors that keep like 1,000 sealed boxes of something. And then maybe they're just waiting for it to just blow up, Metazoo to blow up one day and go to the moon, right? So you have all those people. And then to be honest, like this is a little bit of hearsay as well now, is that what I think why the limits may not be put on is that there are some maybe content creators, bigger content creators, or other larger people that are selling Metazoo that, and they also have kind of like a Patreon themselves that their Patreon members kind of go through them to get these limited products. So these people buy a huge batch of these products, and this is public knowledge as well, because there are a lot of social media posts and YouTube videos of people with like a giant box of like fan art blisters tossed onto the table. And I'm just like, that actually, it hurt me looking at that, to be honest, because I'm just like, this is so unfair for everyone that wanted a fan art blister that didn't get it. It's like, if you limit it to 10, it's like just limit it, please. You know, it's just like, just limit it to like amount. It's hard to find that amount, of course. And with the Wilderness Revive coming out soon, which Metazoo has shown an announcement, I really want to say, Metazoo, please put a limit on that release and just see how the community reacts to it. We know how the community has reacted to no limits, and it's been very controversial. And then if you put limits on it, I really don't think that there's going to be that many people complaining and saying Metazoo's dead, because the Discord itself has over 13,000 members. You have a product that's 2,000. That's like not even like 1/5 of the people on the Discord would be able to get it within that time frame. And you normally sell out in like 1 minute. Like Metazoo is doing great in different marketing aspects. They're doing great in improving their services. Like there's a lot of good things about Metazoo, but I just don't understand why this limit, this purchase limit is such a big issue that Metazoo doesn't either want to implement, or they're having some like technical difficulties doing it. But like I said, they have limited in a long time. And with the free booster packs that were actually given out, I think like 2 weeks ago, there was a limit on those. And I think that could be Metazoo testing out their limit capabilities and also shipping capabilities in that aspect, because those, they didn't even charge shipping, they didn't charge tax, it was completely free. And I'm like, kudos Metazoo, that's really great to bring morale up for the community. And of course, these limit issues are not unique to Metazoo itself. For example, in Pokemon in the late 2020s, early 2021, there was a big scalping issue where a lot of collectors weren't able to buy like the Shining Fates Elite Trainer box. Like that was going for like $90 plus. And you can find it in any Walmarts. They were all cleared out by scalpers. You couldn't find it online. They were bought up by bots within like seconds or like a minute. And then, so what Pokemon did do, like let's just use Pokemon Japan for example. They did a lottery system for these premium collections or products that were very in high demand. Like for the Evolution Japan box, they did lotteries. Like LGSs had to do lotteries for the people to even enter the draw for the actual boxes. Like that's one way of limiting a product. Another way is of course just limiting how much that each person can buy. There's very great LGSs online that actually say only limit one per person because this is a very in-demand product, and those websites get so much praise from the community. Just it's I don't know. I think it's like a very smart thing to do, and it's so easy to please your collector base and player base, and just like overall all the bases that aren't trying to use the product as a vehicle to just make money. And of course, it's a limited item. I understand there's that collectability aspect that wants to be kept with it, but at the same time, you have to balance it with the availability. So collectability versus availability to everyone. Like all this, like I'm not speaking on behalf of the community, but I am one voice in the community. And I think it is something that should be discussed either internally or maybe with the public as well, in maybe the Discord or different social medias. Please just try it out. You're not going to not sell out. If you sell it in an hour, I don't think anyone's going to be thinking Metazoo is dead. For those people that are maybe seeing Metazoo dead, see actually focus more on where that criticism is coming from. Like the Metazoo dead people, maybe they're more in it for the pure profits of Metazoo, while the people that want limits are actual more collectors, and that will help bring more people into Metazoo, and it won't make people quit Metazoo because they had such a bad customer experience. So that's all I have to say about the topic. As always, please leave a comment down below on what you think about purchase limits. I do know there are a lot of people that want to say something, so this is a very good forum, I think, to say it. Perhaps maybe Metazoo may even be watching this video and actually read the comments as well, and maybe that will help just bring more perspective into the importance of having purchase limits on these products. So please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, keep on casting, and I'll see you guys next time.